Welcome to a fantastic video. Today we're going to be talking about the Federalists and the Anti-Federalist parties, okay? These are the very first political parties that popped up in the United States surrounding the ratification or the acceptance of the United States Constitution. So let's get started with the Federalist Party. Now keep in mind, Federalist and federalism, two different things, okay? So the Federalists were the group that were in favor of the Constitution. They liked the Constitution. They liked that it was going to be a stronger federal government. The Federalists also were opposed to adding a Bill of Rights. So the original Constitution did not have a Bill of Rights added to it. The Federalists said, we don't really want to add a Bill of Rights because we think that if you write down specific rights that the people have, then you might limit them in their rights, okay? Because sometime down the road, somebody could say, oh, that right's not written in the Bill of Rights. So if it's not written down, then you don't have it. So it's not that they were opposed to having a Bill of Rights. A lot of the state constitutions already had them. They just didn't want to have it at the national level because they thought it was unnecessary and kind of dangerous. The Federalist Party also believed in a stronger national government. Okay, so they did not like the confederal system that we had under the Articles of Confederation. They wanted to move more towards a federalism system. Okay, so they liked a strong national government, not strong state governments. And some famous Federalists that you may have heard of are John Adams and Alexander Hamilton. Now moving into the Anti-Federalists. So the Anti-Federalists were people, as their name implies, who were against ratification of the Constitution. They didn't like it. They would have been more in favor of the Articles of Confederation because they liked that smaller government. Oh, come on. There we go. So the Anti-Federalists said that there is no way in the world that they're going to sign the Constitution unless a Bill of Rights is added, okay? So they viewed the Bill of Rights kind of the other way that the Federalists said. They said, if there's not a Bill of Rights, then all of your rights are just kind of maybe there, maybe not, okay? Because it's a lot easier to take something away from someone, specifically rights, if it's not written down, okay? Because it can become arbitrary. It can become up for debate. And they also believed in, like I said, a smaller federal government and more powerful state governments. So they didn't really want to deviate or move away from the Articles of Confederation that much. They really liked it. So a famous anti-federalist is Thomas Jefferson. So now, as was the theme in the Constitutional Convention, we've got to come to some sort of compromise. So we compromised, and basically, there were three things that helped with this compromise. The first one was the Federalist Papers. And these were a series of essays, persuasive essays, if you will, that were written by James Madison, John Jay, and Alexander Hamilton. And the goal of the Federalist Papers was to try to convince people, the public, but also the Anti-Federalists, that all of their fears and all of their worries about having a stronger national government were going to be taken care of in the Constitution. We were going to have things like separation of powers and checks and balances that weren't going to let the federal government get too crazy powerful. We also had the Anti-Federalist Papers that were written in response to the Federalist Papers. And those papers, those essays, aren't quite as popular as the Federalist Papers, but those essays were basically debunking or arguing against everything that the Federalist Papers were saying to try to discredit them. And then eventually we do come to a compromise with the 9th and 10th Amendments to the Constitution. So the Bill of Rights includes those first 10, okay? The 9th Amendment, it's kind of like the disclaimer amendment. It's the Unenumerated Rights Amendment, and I'll write that on the board in class. But this amendment says that just because a right isn't listed doesn't mean you don't have it. So it's kind of like the fine print, okay? Just because it's not written down doesn't mean you don't have it. And the 10th Amendment is called the States' Rights Amendment. And the 10th Amendment says if a power is not given to the federal government and it's not denied to the state government, then the state government has it, okay? So the 9th Amendment made the Federalist Party happy, and the 10th Amendment made the Anti-Federalist Party happy. And I will stop there. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.